Good evening, gentlemen. Remember me, it's been a while, hasn't it? The bench is a little messy. There hasn't been much going on lately. I don't have any excuse other than I'm a sack of shit. But today is Wednesday, May the 15th, and Boatfest, Vintage Computer Festival in Hurricane, West Virginia is on June the 14th, and I told the guy I'd bring a Heathkit computer exhibit, and I haven't worked on it a bit, so I guess we should do that. But first we have to clean up the bench. Oh! Alright, nice. So let's figure out what I'm doing here. We got the Boatfest coming. I don't know how that's going to be. I'm kind of curious. I think it's going to be a lot of retro gaming stuff and not a lot of retro computing stuff. Certainly, like, the computing stuff I'm sure will be like Commodore stuff and things like that, which is fine. I'm not casting aspersions upon my Commodore brethren, but being the hoity-toity pinky-up sort of asshole that I am, I have trouble taking machines that don't do 80 columns seriously. So we're going to invade Boatfest with Heathkit equipment and take over, maybe, or just hang out, I don't know. Anyhow, so I want to take the H8, I want to take the H11, and I want to take some kind of PC compatible portable, probably the H138, because I think it was the least broken of the two. I've also got the 168, I think it is. It's the one with the disk drives that pop out of that thing in the top like a missile launcher, but it's all fucked up. And I think including the two terminals that we'll have to have for the H8 and the H11, that'll pretty much take up a table. So, because I want to have the machine sitting beside the terminal opened up so people can stick their grubby little fingers inside and the ESD discharge into all of that fragile 1970s NMOS stuff and fuck all my stuff up, because that's what happens at shows, right? Anyway, so I think the first order of business is to get an H19 terminal working, because I'd taken them all apart, so I'd have lots of different things to like test compare to when I was trying to fix that fucking video board. I'm still annoyed with that thing. Oh, I'm not going to get back into that though. I'm just going to swap the working stuff around that I've got until I've got two working terminals. I'm pretty sure I've got enough stuff that works out of those four, well, there was one working one and three broken ones. I'm pretty sure I've got enough stuff out of those three broken ones to make another one that works. But of course, the one that worked to begin with is all torn apart too, because I'd taken it all apart to use its stuff to have a good base to take readings on to compare to the other. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about anyway. So I want to get one terminal working first, and then we'll get the H8 working. I never got around to assembling the soft sector disk controller for the H8. I do have the board. I don't think I've got the floppy controller for it. I do have a hard sector controller and a virtual sector generator for it. But I don't know how to take hard sector disk images and finagle them to work with a GoTech on a hard sector controller using a virtual sector generator. But I can boot it over Wi-Fi with that cassette interface mod with the ESP8266 I think I used for that, so we can boot it over tape. We'll get that going. We'll get it to boot over tape. And I'm sure that there's some crappy little tape-based game that we can hunt the Wumpus or something that I can just leave running on that for people to ooh and ah over, and then move on to the whiz-bang graphics Commodore stuff, because my shit's going to be boring. And then that'll be done. We'll have the H8 ready. And then I'll have to build a packing crate for the H19 and a packing crate for the H8. I'm going to use plywood and 2x4s that I salvaged out of a cabin that we're working on right now, and glue foam to the inside and have them hinged, so you know, because if I'm going to start going to these shows and stuff, I don't want my stuff to get fucked up in transport, because you know how that goes. So I've got to build crates after the H19 and the H8 are going. And even if that's as far as I get, at least I'll have something to take there. Anyway, after that's gone, then I'll get another H19 working. And then I'll get the H11 working again. Now, I'm trying to remember where I was on that thing. My recollection is that I'd gotten it booting 211 BSD over a virtual hard drive emulated by the Cubone. And then I had removed the Cubone and put the SCSI card in, the UC7, and a blue SCSI, and I booted it off of tape over one of the serial ports and started installing 211 BSD on the blue SCSI like the old school way, like you do it for realsies, you know what I'm saying, without any emulated hardware, and then the power supply blew up again. So the assembly, the dude that assembled that power supply back in the day, it had a lot of cold solder joints, and I went over some of them, but I probably didn't fix them all. I'm hoping that's what the deal is. The whole problem with it to begin with was a cold solder joint on a diode. But hopefully I can get that working. If I can't, then if I can't get the real H11 power supply working, I can just gank an old ATX power supply and generate the power sequencing signals with a microcontroller the way I was doing with the test board, and just put that in the case. So if I'll spend a day trying to fix that power supply, and if I can't, then it's gone for now. I don't want to fuck around and waste time, because we got to get shit done. Right, so then we'll have an H11 working. I'm going to take the SCSI card out. I'm going to put the Cubone back in, and I'm just going to boot it from the Cubone, because I know that works, and we can get that working. And then I'll have an H11 with an 1173 in it running, 211 BSD, and I can probably compile Rogue for it or something and have that running. Okay, and then that'll be done. And then I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think it's a Z138, not an H138. One of my portables, luggables, is a Heathkit, and the other one's a Zenith. I think the 138 was the Zenith and the 168 was the Heathkit, but I can't remember for sure. Anyway, I don't think there was anything wrong with it other than I didn't have a hard drive in it. The hard drive was dead. It had an MFM drive in it, and I've got like 12, or it's either a dozen or 15. I don't know. I've got a bunch of bare XT-IDE boards, and I think I've got enough ROMs and stuff to go around. I'll just assemble one of those and put a fucking CF card in it or something, and then I'll have that machine working, and I'll have to have crates for all that stuff, of course, and then I think I'll be ready. So the first order of business, though, is to get an H19 working. Assume you probably quit watching a long time ago. I'm not even going to edit this because I don't give a fuck, aside from the fake thing there at the beginning. I don't have time for editing bullshit. So the problem with that is that I can't start on it just now, because I need to go down to the other shop and get my little air compressor so I can blow all the dust out. The old computer shack is up a dirt road in the middle of nowhere, and it gets dusty as fuck. I mean, it's not the only place on the road. People drive by and stir up all the dust, and it gets all over everything, and you know how it is. So, yeah, I can't go down there and get it right now though, because I'm waiting on UPS to deliver some stuff down there, and then I can go. So I'm gonna fuck off here until 5 o'clock, which is only 45 minutes at the time of this recording. Go down there and get my compressor, blow this thing out good, my little compressor, blow this thing out good, and then we'll get to it. I'll be back. Well, no dust. I've been away from this thing long enough that I don't remember how it goes back together. Fortunately though, we have the assembly manual, so I will follow it. It'll be like assembling a brand new Heathkit. There's a cigarette burn right there. That's weird. So yeah, this is the one that's going to be the H89, so I'm going to leave the H89 power supply in it. That won't hurt anything. And I'd already redid the 120 in here because it needed a fuse holder. There's my phone beeping at me. So yeah, I'm gonna use my best stuff in this one, and then it'll become the H89 when we can get back to that. The H89 CPU board that I've got is the 11-pin H89A, but all of the working video boards that I have are 10-pin, so I think I'm just going to disassemble the Molex connector and make it into a 10-pin to 11-pin cable and use the older style video board with the H89 CPU board. So I guess that'll work. We'll see. Alright, let me do this. I shall return, although probably not tonight. We will have an update tomorrow. I'm going to work on this until my allotted quitting time, and then we shall have another video tomorrow. Thank you for joining me, gentlemen. I apologize for not actually having any content here, but at least I made a video. Alright, bye.